Okay, so this video is going to look at a little bit about how to do microscope and magnification calculations. Okay, so there's kind of two things we need to do here. Um, First, there is this idea of calculating magnification. Now, magnification is the measured size of something over the actual size. Okay, so the idea here is you're looking at something under a microscope. You might take a picture of it, you might make a drawing of it, and you want to figure out one of these three things, okay? So another way of looking at it is you could use the measured size and magnification to figure out the actual size of something, right? And that's usually what scientists are interested in, okay? This we'll talk about later. This is using error bars and to help measurement bars to help with this. But a couple of things we need to remember here is first, we've got to convert all units to make them the same. And I'll talk about what that means in a moment. You need to perform your calculation and then convert them kind of to the appropriate SI units using scientific notation where needed. And this is, you have a bit of flexibility on that. So let's just go over to the first idea here. Now you've probably have done this maybe in a previous biology class, maybe in a chemistry class, but there's a couple of calculations and units you need to be familiar with in biology. Okay, meter, centimeter, millimeter. Again, those are pretty good. Micrometer, which is notice the units are this funny looking U. And then nanometers. Okay, so basically, when you go from here to here, the measurement's getting smaller in a sense. You tend to use those for smaller numbers. So like for this first one, this tells you how to do the conversion. So if you want to go from meters to centimeters, you multiply by 100 centimeters. Right? If you want to go to centimeters to meters, you divide, and so forth. So, for example, here, 0.5 meters is equal to 50 centimeters. Okay. So here, 50 centimeters is equal to 0.5 meters. Now, I tell you, if you need to calculate that, this is still kind of new to you. I'll show you. There's an easy way to do this. So, I'm taking this problem, and I'm doing it right here. Okay. So we can do 50 centimeters, and we can do kind of this idea here, and we want to convert that to meters. So we would put meters here, and we would put centimeters down here. Now here is where you put the conversion factor. So I know that 100 centimeters equals 1 meter. Okay. Now, whenever I'm going across the top, I multiply. And then I divide it by whatever's on the bottom. Okay? So basically what this looks like written out is 50 centimeters times 1 meter divided over 100 centimeters. Right? Now what also happens here is these units cancel out, so we're just left with meters. So 50 divided by that is 0.5 meters. Okay, so that's how you would do that conversion. All right, looking at this example here, we're going from millimeters to micrometers. Now this is maybe a bit more unfamiliar to you. So 5 millimeters, and then we put millimeters on the bottom here, and we put micrometers up here. So looking here, in 1 millimeter, there are 1,000 micrometers. Okay, so imagine taking your ruler, find the smallest bit on that, and divide that up by 1,000. That's a micrometer. It's a very small number. So then what we do here, the units cancel themselves out, multiply across the top. So 5 times 1,000. Divide by 1, we get 5,000 micrometers. Okay. And then this way, if we're going back the other way, this can be a little bit trickier. But if you set it up the same way, it's not too bad. So down here, then we put micrometers, and up here we put millimeters. So now we know that 1 millimeter is equal to 1,000 micrometers. So now it's basically 50 divided by 1,000, which will equal 0.0 0.05 millimeters. Okay? And then if we're going to do nanometers to micrometers, we know that there are 1,000 nanometers in 1 micrometer. Right? Yeah. So cross those out. 5 divided by that, 0.05 nanometers. Okay? And these are the most common calculations you'll have to do in biology. Sometimes there might be, you need to do 2 conversions, but most of you should be able to figure that out. Let me know if you can't. Okay, so converting the units is kind of the first step with that. So that's what I've kind of shown you here. Okay. The second thing is performing the calculations. So let's say, for example, this was the drawing of a plant cell. Okay. So let's label this. So this is an Elodea cell, or leaf, and hopefully when we're back in school we can look at that. This is an Elodea leaf under a microscope. Okay. Now, one measurement you need to be familiar with is something called the field of view. Okay. So that's the distance from here to here. Okay. And for this, we're going to say it's about 2 millimeters. Okay. So that's the field of view. So if you have that, and notice here, I've said the total magnification is 1,000, or is 100, right? So that's the total magnification is the eyepiece, so what you're looking through from the previous activity you did, and the lens piece. So 10 times 10 is 100x. So this is the magnification we're looking at here. All right. So this is the equation, is the measured size over the actual size. If you put this into Mr. Covington's magic triangle, or Mr. C's magic triangle, you'll see we can do it this way. So if you're trying to figure out, let's say you're trying to figure out magnification. So you cover magnification. So to get magnification, you need to do measured size divided by actual size. Okay. Let's say you're trying to figure out the measured size. Then you would do magnification times the actual size. Okay.